What the heck is an ERP? You've probably heard it thrown around at business conferences. You may remember it from when you were back at school, or maybe some super annoying guy in a suit was talking about how he's implementing an ERP for his company, trying to look impressive. Understanding what the acronym stands for doesn't really help a lot of people. It stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, but that could mean a lot of things. So today, I'm going to tell you what an ERP is. And that means I'm going to go into what it is, who needs one, and how you go about getting one. Oh, and stay tuned to the end because I'm going to share something with you that likely you're not going to hear anywhere else. Okay, so firstly, what is it? In any business, we deal with a lot of different systems, a lot of times based on which area of the business we're in. For example, if you're in sales, your system would likely be a CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce. If you're in accounting, you'd likely be using a software like QuickBooks or Sage. Add to that, we may have an e-commerce platform. We likely have operations where we go out and perform services for our customers or we sell them goods. All of those things need a system, and we may or may not have one. And beyond that, let's not forget the hundreds of different Excel spreadsheets that are likely littered all over our business. Because who doesn't love Excel and trying to compare Jimmy's answer to how much money we made last month and Johnny's answer? It's all sorts of fun. So an ERP takes all of these systems and all of these different areas and puts them into one cohesive software. So hopefully the end result is that all the information that we need to run our business is in one place. That's the desired end result of an ERP. To show you how this looks in the real world, I'm going to show you a customer card in an ERP called ODOO that I spend a lot of time in. So this is ODOO, and this is my customer card in ODOO. It's for a company called Azure Interior. I have all of their information here. I have people that are under this company or employees of this company. I've got information about sales and purchasing for them, all this different information here. But this company is actually linked to opportunities, sales. They're linked to different invoices. I have a customer statement for them. I can look at subscriptions they have, meetings we've had with them, different support tickets they've had, and more. If I had a bunch of different systems like HubSpot over here, QuickBooks over here, and other stuff inside the operations of the company, I'd have to go to each of those systems just to get that information about the customer. And the big difficulty with all of this is that I'd likely have to go to different people to collect all that information. I may have a login to that system, but I'm likely not very familiar with it. So again, an ERP hopefully takes all the information that's flowing throughout your business and puts it into one approachable place. Again, popping back to ODOO, you can see that right here I have Discuss, which is a lot like Slack. I have a calendar for my user and for my company. I have all my contacts, which is customers, vendors, employees, all of them. I've got CRM, I've got a sales area. If I'm running a restaurant, I can have a kitchen display here. I can have a point of sale. I have timesheets telling me how my employees spend their time while they're at work. And I have all this other stuff too. Again, having all this information in the same place should make it so that operationally we're more efficient with the way we function. We make sure that inventory is ordered when it needs to be ordered. We keep track of our customers better, all of that. Plus, hopefully we have better reporting. It needs to be said that one of the desired end results with an ERP is getting the information all in one place so I can do reporting, not just function operationally. I want to be able to look at stuff and make intelligent decisions. So in an ERP like ODOO, we have what are called dashboards, which take all of this wonderful information that we're aggregating it in one place, and it makes it more approachable in different formats for me so that at the top levels of management and in our day-to-day levels, we can make better decisions and see if we're improving period over period. Now, looking at something like this, you may be thinking, wow, that's a lot. We probably don't need all of that. And you may be right. So let's go into who needs one of these. And then after that, if you find you need one, how do you get one? So for a lot of companies, there tends to be a central person that knows a little bit about everything. A lot of times it's the owner. Sometimes it's the bookkeeper, but there's usually that one person. Now, as a company grows, this person starts to be split into multiple people. You can't really have all the knowledge of a company inside one person, especially as it grows and has a lot of different moving parts. So for me, The time when a company needs an ERP or should definitely start looking into getting an ERP is when one person can't really hold all the information in their head. And if we're honest, unless you have an incredibly simple company, you're going to hit this point very quickly. And hopefully the other point you hit very quickly is the point where you hit like and subscribe, because I have tons of other great information to share with you. Now, you can hobble along with QuickBooks, HubSpot, all your disparate systems if you want to. But really, why would you? Because all the effort that goes into you managing those systems and all the pain that comes from you not having your information all centralized and organized, is it really worth it? And the answer to that question for you is likely closely tied to my final answer, which is, how do I go about getting an ERP and what does it take to get one? And the answer to that is a classic one. It depends. But let me try and make that a little more coherent for you. Most ERPs, because of their complexity, require what's called an implementation. Basically, that's just a fancy word for you paying somebody to come in and set up the ERP for you, pulling across your data that you need, and setting up any sort of customizations or development you may need as well. Now, something like that can get pretty expensive pretty quickly. You're not likely to be able to implement any ERP for under $10,000. It's just that simple. Many companies spend significantly more than that just getting off the ground. And you have to add to that your monthly user cost, other hosting costs, and your upgrade costs when it comes time to upgrade to the latest and greatest. Along with the monetary cost, there is the time component of getting the ERP customized. It's not just instant, and you need to move all your people into the new ERP, which requires training and a little bit of hand-holding. Now, let's take that with a pinch of salt, because there are many other costs that go into maintaining your systems that are spread out all over the place. And there's a lot more pain that comes with not having your information all in one place, both in not meeting deadlines and not being able to answer simple questions. Now, none of this is necessarily meant to scare you. It's really just meant to give you perspective. You should never grab any ERP thinking it's just going to be plug and play. It's just not that simple. So to recap what goes into it, you're going to have to find somebody to help you set it up. You're going to have to pay that somebody, and then you're going to have to train your employees. And that can be a lengthy and expensive process. But I did promise you a tidbit at the end that you weren't going to find anywhere else. So let's get into that piece. You have two other options when it comes to getting an ERP. The first is that you might be able to find an industry-specific ERP that is almost plug and play. These are becoming more and more common, especially if what you do isn't exactly unique. So before you despair and decide that ERP just isn't for you, go to Google, type in ERP for, and if your business is pressure washing, put in pressure washing, or say ERP for restaurants or ERP for custom manufacturing. Check those out first. After you've done that though, there still is hope that you won't have to go through a crazy implementation where you have to pay a ton of money. You may not remember the name, but I already showed you an ERP called ODOO. ODOO is growing incredibly quickly in the ERP space, and there are reasons for that. One of the reasons, it's got to be said, is their pricing model. Currently, you're spending about $45 per user, and once you have a user, every single bit of functionality that's available in ODOO is available to you. There's no nickel and diming here. Now, $45 may seem like a lot, but it's really not in the ERP space. Normally you're spending $200 plus per user. And beside the monthly cost, the implementations tend to be a lot less expensive as well. If you're willing to put in a little sweat equity yourself, you can sometimes get ODOO set up for less than several $1,000s, which is really quite incredible. And really, that's where I come in for most people. My channel is all about helping you put in that sweat equity, knowing what you need to do, how you need to do it, and holding your hand as much as I can along the way. Anyway, hopefully I haven't put you off ERPs, because when it comes down to it, you're going to end up spending the money that you spend on an ERP most times anyway. As with most things in business, you can either plan and organize at the front end and spend the money there, or you can spend the money on cleanup and crisis management. And the choice between the two kind of seems obvious, right? Anyway, now you know what an ERP is, and nobody can intimidate you by bringing it up. If there's anything I didn't cover that you wish I had, please drop it in the comments below, along with any questions you may have. And if you'd like some time with me one-on-one to go over ERPs or really anything else, grab some time on my Calendly, which is also linked in the description. I also have courses that are great value if you're looking for something a little bit more guided. Go ahead and grab one of those. At any rate, guys, I really appreciate you stopping by. Hope you learned something and hope to see you again soon. Thanks.